So here we go. My Namalsk review. My review of this unofficial map from Adam Francu, also known as Sumrak on the internet, the lead developer of DayZ. And you may well be asking yourself, whoa, Rob, why aren't you showing us gameplay of Namalsk? Why aren't we seeing you running around in the snow or in the mountains being chased by wolves or polar bears or zombies? And the answer is, I don't want to give anything away, because Namalsk isn't what we're used to in DayZ. And I also think that Namalsk is an incredibly important step in the development of DayZ. So Namalsk, of course, it's a map. You know, you subscribe to it on the Steam Workshop. You download Namalsk Island and Namalsk Survival, and then you go to a server and you log in, and it's a different place, but you know, it's DayZ. There's zombies, there's wolves, there's bears, and you've got to survive. The difference you may just think is, well, don't things just get? Isn't it just really cold here? You know, things are frozen, so you have to defrost food, and you've got to think about your temperature of your body an awful lot more, and getting wet and things like that. And that's true. That is true, and you've got the challenges of not knowing where you are. I mean, you can fire up the I-Survive map and you can look to see where the towns are and the military bases, and move around and start scavenging and start surviving and start shooting other players or zombies. And that's true. It's got all that. It's got what we get in Chernobyl and Livonia and, you know, other maps. And that's good. But what's really important, I think, about Namalsk and for the development of DayZ is the story. Namalsk has got a story, and it's all told through environmental storytelling. So, you know, what you find as you wander around, you know, the landscape, what's happened to the landscape, what you find in the landscape, the sounds that you hear. And there's some objects that you may or may not find when you're wandering around, exploring, that kind of explain things about what's happened. And they're giving us lore about DayZ. And again, I don't really want to say any more than that, because I don't want to give anything away. For the same reason that I'm not showing you any gameplay right now, I don't want to tell you about anything to do with this map, because we are so used to running around Chernobyl, we're so used to running around Livonia and just doing our DayZ thing, whatever that might be, whether that might be PvE, it might be PvP, it might be building, it might be shooting, it might be hunting. Actually, the story behind DayZ, I know most of us, we've probably put it to one side, because there is no real lore to DayZ. You know, why are we here? And there's nothing, well, there's not much in the landscape to discover in DayZ that kind of tells you what's happened. I mean, we've got the location, we've got kind of Eastern Europe on the, you know, on the Baltic, that sort of stuff, or not the Baltic, the Black Sea, and that tells us a bit. And we've got the crashed helicopters, and we know it's related to Arma, and we know in Arma the Russians and the Americans and various other factions are fighting each other. But there's not much there, and we put it to one side. Now, I know there's role players and there's role play sites that go into great detail about the lore and the history about DayZ. But with Namalsk, Sumrak, Adam Francu and his team, they're really introducing a storytelling element to DayZ. And I've kind of always been of the opinion that less is more when it comes to storytelling in lots of video games. For example, I always felt that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, the lore behind it, the story behind it, was always better when we didn't actually know what was happening. And what's happened over the last couple of years is PUBG Corp have given us videos and documents that you know, explain pretty explicitly, this is why we have the battlegrounds, these are the people who are in control, you know, this is what's happened in different parts of the world for PUBG. And for me, that takes something away, because what you can imagine is always more interesting, or could be more interesting, than what they actually tell you, unless you have some very clever writers. But what I didn't realise, and the way that I would apply that to DayZ, was I would use that justification and say, I really hope that Bohemia Interactive don't give us a lore, they don't tell us what happened, because our imaginations are always going to be better. But what I didn't take into account was the fact that actually with DayZ, we get very little. And I'm not saying Adam Francu gives us loads, but he gives us a little bit more. And I, for one, for me, it has made me incredibly hungry for a little bit more, to find out about, you know, the bigger world of DayZ. What's happened? Why are we here? Where are we going? That sort of thing. So that's why Namalsk is incredibly important. That's why you've got to download it and you've got to play it. And when you play it, don't just play it to survive or to kill. Play it to explore. Find out. You're there with questions. What happened here? What can I find out? So there we go. So that's my... I think Namalsk is amazing. It's brilliant for that. The fact that it has this story in it. And it's a great map. It's an interesting map. It's a beautiful map. It's a challenge. There's all sorts of different things that will happen. Again, I'm not going to talk about them here, but you will enjoy them. So there we go. You can't really ask more from a map, can you? You know, it's a good DayZ map to play on, and it's got this almost campaign-like story that you can discover and you can explore and you can find out about. Now, the thing I just wanted to kind of clag on to the end of this review was console. And I don't know if anybody from Bohemia Interactive or Sony or Xbox is watching this, you have to bring the Namalsk to console. It won't be that difficult. It's just another map pack and then, you know, a few mods to make it cold. That's all you've got to do. You've got to bring this map to console. Namalsk has increased the concurrent player count in DayZ to its highest level on PC since the game was released. This is, and tens of thousands of people have come back to DayZ to play Namalsk and have seen how much better DayZ standalone is now, and that's encouraged them to carry on playing, probably going back to Chernihiv and going back to Livonia and maybe trying out Deer Isle and some of the other maps. That's how important Namalsk has been to DayZ, and that's how important it is to console. You must bring it to console. But there we go, my review of Namalsk. Fantastic work, Adam. Fantastic work. Absolutely amazing. And I really hope you can bring the mindset behind the creation of Namalsk to the rest of the DayZ, you know, to official DayZ. If that means different maps, great. But maybe we can work some of that Namalsk magic into Chernihiv and into Livonia to add that little bit of spice for people, for existing players, and of course for new players who come to the game. Anyway, that's enough from me. Bit of a strange review, I know. But if you've enjoyed it, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Put your thoughts and comments down below. And I will, of course, see you again soon.